Hello and welcome. My name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining me for our new stamp set of the week, Changing Leaves. So this is the garden we're going to create, but before we do that, let me bring in our diagram as I normally do on a Monday. So with the stamp set you have 3 leaves and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentiments. So you've got a big, medium, small leaf. You've got 5 sentiments, a little note to brighten your day. You are amazing in every single way. Thank you. I couldn't have done it without you, and here for you. So that is the stamp set, but it actually comes as a bundle as well should you wish. So the first thing is the actual first set of dies you get are the ones in the green. So you have 3 types for sentiments. Okay, I cut out. Then you have got your leaves. So you've got a 2-pronged leaf, a single pronged leaf, a little bit of foliage, and then you've got this little leaf here. It also comes with an embossing folder, which I have embossed it here. Obviously you can use it on both sides depending on how you wish to use it, but it also comes with a frame that works inside the embossing folder. So this is the embossing folder. The frame will fit in like that. You put your piece of paper in, run it through your machine, and then it will cut out these 3 leaves for you. So as I say, it is actually quite a bundle. Do apologise if you can hear barking and the lawnmower. The gentleman next door is cutting his grass and his dogs are chasing the lawnmower, so apologies for that, I'm afraid. Anyway, let me bring in the supplies for today and we can see what we're going to create. So the supplies for today are as follows. So this is the gorgeous grape. It measures 8 inches by 5 3/4. I have a piece of Poppy Parade, which is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. I then have a piece of white, basic white, which is exactly the same size, which again is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. I have an inside layer which is 3 1/2 by 5 1/4, and then I have a strip for the sentiment, and this measures 3/4 inch by 5 1/2, and of course I have the envelope. Right, so we're actually going to work on the larger of the 2 white pieces, and almost as the same as you do with a one sheet wonder, we're just going to stamp that up. So a generally rule of thumb for me, the larger the stamp, the lighter the colour. So my first stamp is the largest of the 3 leaves, and I'm stamping that up in Poppy Parade. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp it up. I'm going to take the ink pad to the stamp rather than the other way around, as it is so large. Okay, so let's pop that one onto there. Swing it round. Do exactly the same on the other corner. There we go. So as I say, it's very similar to a one sheet wonder, but I'm actually going to cut it down in size to fit our card as we like. So the next one I've got is Pretty Peacock. So this is the next size down leaf. So I'll stamp that up. Okay, so let's add that to there. And then do the same down this side. There we are. And then last but by no means least, we are going to bring in the smaller of the leaves and the Blackberry Bliss. So stamp that up. And let us add this one in there, and then I'm going to next one bring just to the end here There we go. So that is our piece of card. Now obviously you can stick that down onto your base as you wish and just create the card. However, for the card that we're actually going to create today, what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to cut it at the 2.5 inch mark. I'm just going to make sure before I do that it is definitely 2.5. Yep, it's 2.5 inches by 5.5. No, by 5.25. So it's 2.5 by 5.25. Okay, so let's bring in our machine. Now obviously we can cut it off straight down there, and that would work that way. Or do we want a bit more green? And then I could cut that. Let's do it that way. Do that. Turn it round to 2.5. No, still too much. Let's do it that way. You're going to bring it down as much as you possibly can. So still needs to be 2.5. So let's take another, so you can get it the way you want it. There we go. Yeah, and then it's 5.25. So I just cut off that way. Okay, so there is our first piece. That can now be mounted onto there. Now, two options. You can either have it vertical. Oh, that's a bit long, so I'm going to cut that down in a second. Or you can have it horizontal. So for this one, I'm actually going to have it the horizontal way. But first I want to cut that down to 5.25. There we go. There we go, 5.25. And then I can stamp up the sentiment. Now I've got the happy birthday sentiment here, and I'm going to ink that up in the Blackberry Bliss, mainly because there's not a lot of it showing in the actual picture that we've just stamped. So there we go. Bring that around. And then we just stamp it on. Straight down, straight up. Perfect. Lovely. So now that can be adhered to our backing card. So for this I'm going to use my multi-purpose, just because I want to have that little bit of extra wiggle room. Come on. It's spitting out a tiny bit. There we go. Good grief. Right. So let's pop that onto there. Give myself a little bit of wriggle room. Lovely. Straight across. And then the happy birthday will go onto there, like so. So again, come on, you know you're in there. Thank you. And that just fits into there, like so. When you're happy with the way it is, you can then layer it up onto your piece of base card. So as I said, my base card for this one is Blackberry Bliss. I'm just going to fold that in half, take my bone folder and burnish. There we go. And then that can go on here, like so. So I was at a coffee and card class a couple of weeks ago, and Jenny was doing very similar to what I have here. I'll show you the cards we created and you'll see the full version of the card to this one. Okay, so there is the card. Now obviously I feel there's a little bit too much gap here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some bling, and I can add some bling to it to make it just a little bit fuller. Let's see what I can use. I think I'm going to use those ones. Right, so obviously odd numbers as always, so I'm just going to add 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and then the third one, probably about there. Okay, right, so that is today's card. Quite quick and easy. We get the inside layer on and then stamp it, and the same with the envelope as I have done on this particular card here. So I'm just going to put those aside for 2 seconds and bring in the 2 cards I did with Jenny so you can see what I mean. So this is the full layer. So literally what we did earlier on is stamped all the way around the edge and then just layered it on. Again, I've done the same on this one, but I've only used one of the leaves. So you've got either way. You can do it as a full version, or you can do it as half a version, which is this one here. So thank you ever so much for joining me for today. I will be back on Wednesday with our next card, so do join me with that if you're free. So whatever you do, stay safe and happy crafting. Bye.